If you're new to cycling, or even if you've been cycling for quite a long time, you'll be forgiven for getting a bit nervous about corners.
Yep, I mean, when you look at a road bike, it doesn't exactly look terribly stable, does it?
No, 25mm tyres, a frame light enough to get blown away in a stiff breeze, and narrow, twitchy handlebars.
Yep, but with these 5 simple tips, you'll soon be cornering not just safely, but with speed and style. It sounds so simple and yet can be strangely difficult in practice, particularly on sharper corners where you might not be able to see where the road straightens up again.
Yeah, that's right. In corners like that, you'll find yourself turning your head quite a bit, which can be quite disconcerting and certainly a sensation that doesn't come naturally. But persist, because it is important.
The alternative could well be the reason that you're finding corners make you nervous. It's called target fixation, and it goes something like this.
Enter corner, feeling nervous. Look at tree, signpost, wall, feel more nervous. Find yourself getting drawn towards the tree, signpost, wall, panic.
For some reason, we are drawn towards objects we're looking at, and that most definitely applies when cornering. So resist the temptation wherever possible and instead look towards where you want to go.
Another urge we'd like you to resist is braking. Not entirely, of course, because that would be a recipe for disaster. More backing off, especially when you're actually in the corner itself.
Yeah, the problem with hitting the brakes in the corner is that your tyres are already under a lot of lateral load. So if you add deceleration into the mix, it actually increases the chance of skidding out, which is what we definitely want to avoid.
If that's the wrong thing to do, then what's the right thing to do? Well, brake before the turn, slow down ahead of time, then release the brakes as you enter the curve.
The tighter the corner, the slower you should go, and you'll have a good idea of how tight the corner is because you'll be looking ahead. But ultimately, it's about what you feel comfortable with. So start off slow and build up the speed as you gain confidence and you've practiced your cornering.
We're looking where we're going, we've started to slow down, and the next thing we need to do before we actually start turning is to make sure that our leg that's on the outside of the corner is in the 6 o'clock position and that you push your weight through it. So if we go around a left-hand bend, it's the right leg and vice versa.
This has 2 effects. Firstly, as you lean into the corner, it keeps the inside pedal well clear of the ground, and it also helps to keep your weight over the tyres. Both these factors only matter when you're going quickly, but the principles are really important and they will also help you to increase your confidence. Let's talk a little bit more about leaning your bike. Lean is the fundamental way in which you get a bike around a corner. Your centre of balance has to be further over to the inside than the contact point of your tyres with the road. Otherwise, you would just topple over. Now, we do sympathise if that lean makes you feel a bit nervous. This is exactly the time when you really need to trust your tyres. All I can say is they're probably grippier than you think, and you can build up confidence in your tyres by practicing cornering. You do always need to be aware of the road conditions though, because wet roads or gravel or sand or even drain covers will reduce your grip. So look ahead to where you're going and adjust your speed and your lean according to the amount of grip you've got.
Finally, relax. You'll descend far more safely and better if you're relaxed. Now, if you tense up, you risk making mistakes like grabbing the brakes too harshly or getting distracted at things at the side of the road, like trees, signs, or rocks, for example.
But we'll admit that this can be incredibly frustrating advice, because if you're nervous, no matter how much someone tells you to relax, you can't do it. So how do you relax?
Practice. Not just go around corners when you're out riding, you'll be doing that anyway, we imagine, but actually practice putting these skills into practice. It could be on a suburban circuit, it could be on a twisty descent that you're familiar with, or it could be in an empty car park. It doesn't really matter.
What does matter is that you get used to the sensations of looking where you're going, braking early, weighting your outside pedal and leaning the bike. The more you do these things consciously, the quicker you'll be able to do them subconsciously. I hope this helps if you're a little bit nervous on turns. This is, though, very much cornering simplified. There's lots more that we could talk about, for example, the line you should take, but on open roads, just stick with those 5 tips to start with.
Yeah, or if you want to take things up a notch or two, how about checking out this video that we made a couple of years ago called Cornering perfected.
Don't forget to give us a thumbs up